In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you an idea of how to use the new tartan die from John Next Door from Crafts2. This is quite a simple looking die that cuts in one piece, but there's lots of different things you can do with it. So we're going to do it this time and make it look like a tartan card. So to start with, I'm going to take the die, and I've cut a piece of white linen card here to approximately 5.5 inches because the die is just slightly below 5 inches square. And all we need to do is put it evenly down on this card, tape it safely down, and I'm just going to cut this through. I'm using my Kaleido by Crafts2 as it's a perfect size for cutting this. So I'm just running that through. There we go. And you can see there all the pieces have cut out, and I just need to flick those bits out. For speed, however, I've got one that I've already cut. So I'm just going to move that to one side and bring in a piece here that I've already got cut. And you can see here, I've got the beautiful tartan, the different size stripes going all the way through in the crisscross. So we really want to highlight that. I mean, what we can do, we can just put it over another piece of card and have a 2-colour or a monotone. But what I want to do is really bring out the different colours in this. So first things first, I'm just going to take a spray box. I'm going to spray the back of the piece using spray glue, and I'm using Craft Mount by 3M. And this is a really quick way to do this. You can use normal glue, it's just a little bit quicker. So what we're then going to do is we're going to use strips of card, and I've chosen 3 colours of the Craft Artist satin card in emerald, ruby, and I think this is sea green or spring green, and I've cut these to 1/2 inch. I'm just going to show you how I do that. To cut your strips evenly to go behind the tartan, I use my guillotine. This is my Crafts2 guillotine, which is a perfect size and is self-sharpening, so really works. And I've got a piece here of the emerald green Craft Artist satin card, and you just want to cut this down, strip down to an even shape. So this one is 4 inches, which is perfect. And then all I do is slide this along to 3.5 inches and cut. Slide it along to 3 inches and cut. And you continue doing that every 1/2 inch until you've got the strips that you actually need. And this is an easy way of doing it. Rather than trying to cut 1/2 inch strips, start with a larger piece and cut 1/2 inch off each time. And what you'll find is that the waist piece is exactly the right size. And with this guillotine, the metal plate here is exactly 1/2 inch. So all I have to do to finish is pop that evenly against the metal strip, cut down, and that gives me all of these pieces. So from an 8-inch strip of card or a 4-inch strip of card, I have 8 1/2 inch strips. Absolutely perfect. And that's all we need to put behind the tartan. So here I've got my piece, which has got the spray glue on the back, and I've got all my strips cut to 1/2 inch. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the red colour, and I want this to be in the highlight stripes. So all I do is simply stick these down, going across on the back to cover those stripes. You just want to be a little bit careful, make sure you don't see any popping through on the other side. If you do, as I've done there, it's one of the reasons I use the spray glue, is it allows me to reposition it just to make sure that nothing's showing through. So I'm going to turn it again 90 degrees and just do the same thing again. So we're going to put the 2 red pieces down. Now what I'm going to do next is change the colours. So turn it over, and at this stage just snip off the excess. There we go. I can see on that one I've got it a little bit wrong, so I'm just going to move that one slightly. There we go. Okay, and what we do then is we reapply the spray glue lightly, because they're going to crisscross this piece here. So let's just take those little bits of waste away. I'm then going to go with the bright green, and I'm going to put that in this larger stripe. So again, going across each of the larger stripes So if you're doing a square card like this, of the highlight colour, which I've chosen to be the red, then you would need 4 strips. For the other 2 colours, you will need 6 strips of the next one, and then I think I'll have to work that one out. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 6 of each. So going over the centre of each one. So the real simple thing is, if you cut 6 strips of each colour, then you make sure that you've got enough. There we go. So if I turn this over, you can see then I have this darker green crisscrossing over behind the red. So again, I'm just going to trim down those pieces. Really simple. We'll move those out of the way. And then I'm going to add the spring green. So once again, bring my spray box in, give it a final spray, and don't worry, nearly all of it will be coated. And then I'm going to go with the spring green, and I'm simply going to cover over the last strips. And this time I don't need to crisscross them, because I can simply do it all in one direction. It really is that simple. So we're just going on with all of these in the spring green. And again, the placement of these doesn't matter that much because we've already covered most of the front. It's just making sure, and we'll turn it over in a second to check, that it's covering all of those holes. And we can see there, we've got our lighter spring green behind, dark green in the front, and our red in the front there as well. So we're just going to trim off the excess pieces of that. However, at that point, the green's very dominant. And I think this die is a very complex one to start trying to paper piece. So what I actually do is, I'm going to paper piece just these centre 9 squares. I'm going to bring this bright red colour forward. So I've already done this ahead of time. I take the die again and I simply cut out of the red, and I would use this as the start of the next card. I cut out of the red all of the pieces, and I've saved here the 9 squares from the centre. So really, really simple and easy to do. And to put these in, I'm just going to use, this is Glue Glaze by Craft Artist, which is a quick bond dry glue, perfect for gluing down these sort of things. And I'm going to use this, which is a jewel picker 2, which has a mouldable end, again from Crafts 2. And all we're going to do is pop down a little bit of glue. Now don't do all 9 because this is a quick dry glue, so just do them 3 at a time. And I'm just going to use the jewel picker. Because of the soft end, it means it doesn't mark this beautiful satin card. If you use a sharp point picker tool, then it can actually put a little hole or dent into your card, which you don't want to do. So we'll do 3 more. There we go. And we'll just drop 3 more squares in. Gives me a little time just to move them about. You can use the other end just to get them in, but make sure you push it down with the flat of your finger. You don't want to mark the card. And this would be great for a men's card, or fantastic for Christmas. Again, which seems to be the perennial card making thing for handmade card makers. And so we'll just drop in the last 3 squares. 1, 2, and 3. And there we've got our tartan done. And we've got a beautiful sheen and shine on that. And it looks like you spent a lot more time paper piecing each piece. Can you imagine paper piecing these little pieces here? And again, if you wanted to, you could put a little square of a different colour behind each of these first to really play with the colours. There's so many different options you can do with that. So to make this into a card, all I've done is I've pulled out colours from inside. So I've got the white linen, the emerald and the ruby satin card, and I've made a square set of frames using the press cut stitched dot squares and plain squares, which interlayer perfectly. There we go. Added a little bit of foam tape on just so I get that dimension, and I can look through the design and make sure I pick it up exactly in the center. And then all we need to do is add a little bit of glue onto the back of here. So again, you could use a little bit of foam tape if you want to. For speed, I'm going to use a little bit of foam tape. And you may find this back is still a little bit tacky, but most of it is covered. So I actually find this works just as well. And we're just going to pop that onto a larger card blank. And the card blank I've made is 7x7 in white to match the tartan. And again, we just place that perfectly in the middle. There we go. And there we've got our perfectly framed tartan card made very, very quickly.